Hello everybody, we are winding down the school year here, so we are winding down our app reviews. I think this is our second to last app webinar that we'll be running here. Today we're going to look at 4 different apps for organization. I was going to add a 5th into this, and it had been one of my favorites. You'll see it on my screen here. It says Voice Calendar. What that in the past has let you do is record a reminder using your voice, and then when it was time to play the reminder, instead of beeping, it would actually play back what was recorded. That really isn't the case anymore because with the new iOS update, it doesn't allow you to do that. So if you're running iOS 6 or higher, it will not play back the voice recording. So we're just going to avoid that one for now. I'm going to start with one called My Homework, and we'll see that right here. We'll open that up. What My Homework allows us to do is this is a kind of an organization tool for what's going on in the classroom. It's free. It's a free app. There's a free account attached to it online as well, so you can access things online on a desktop or laptop computer. You can access things through the app. It's kind of like a Dropbox type tool for organizing your homework. So you'll see here down the left side of the screen, I've got the classes that I'm in, and here's all of them. You can see there's tabs there for today, tomorrow. To add a class, you would just tap there, and you could add a class manually, or you could find a class. We'll just skip out of that for now because I do have my class in here. And then you're going to see on the other side here, we've got our homework pieces. Within homework, here's everything that's going on in this class right now. There's an evaluation number 1 that's due today. There's an evaluation tool due Monday. There's a midterm on May 29th. You can see that all kind of falls there. You can have this played out by class. You could also have it played out by priority here. So when you add, or by type, which you can see there's homework, test, and paper put in there. When you add something and you hit the plus key, you can go through this and figure out, you can add what you need to add to this. So we'll just add something in here. I'll put in assignment, we'll call it assignment 2. We'll find our class, and since that's the only class I have listed is Intro to Assistive Technology, that's the only one that's going to show up down here in the bar, so we'll choose that. If we hit type, it's going to ask us for, is this homework, test, studying, read, paper, presentation, lab, final. We will call this homework. The due date, we'll say it's due next Wednesday. And we don't really have a due time. Priority, we'll make this a high priority. And then we could add a reminder at some point if we want. We'll add a reminder since this is high priority. We'll add a week before our reminder. We can type in additional information if we want, and then hit save, and that's going to add this to our roll of things to do for homework here. The really cool thing about this is that it doesn't have to be student driven to use this. It could be teacher driven, and we hit that little three bars right there. Here we can get a look at a calendar, homework, this teachers option, and announcement. And if we hit teachers, what that's going to do is it's going to take us to something where a teacher can sign up on a website called teachers.io. And then teachers can put out information about assignments, and then students can hit the sync button and it'll automatically sync up. So I'm a teacher linked to this right now. You can see there's my picture. Choose me. You can see my information is there. I'm going to go back and I'm going to take a look at my home screen. So we've got, you see our 3 assignments there. Let me just show you, if we go and we hit the internet option here, if we go into Safari, you can see this is teachers.io right here, and I am going to go ahead, and that shows up a little bit differently on your screen than it is on mine. There we go, now you can see it. I am going to go ahead and I am going to add a homework assignment to my class, and we'll see that pop up in my assignment here. So I'm going to view my class, and we'll add the final. Let's add the final exam to this. So I'm going to hit final and type in final, and I will put that on the due date. We'll just make the final for this class May 31st and hit add. And so now I've done that. I as the teacher have done this on teachers.io. If I go back into the homework app here, if I go back into my homework as a student now, and I go up to the top corner here where we see these two wheels, well, I didn't even have to do that. There you see the final exam popped up in my list. So this is really cool because we could have the teachers and the students working in sync to kind of make sure that everything the student needs to know about the class is listed in that particular in that app for the student. So for the student, it's My Homework. It's a free app. It's also a free website. For the teacher, it's teachers.io, and you can create a free account through that. So that's one organization app. Another one that I really like is also a free app. It's called In Class. We open up In Class. What it's going to show me right now is we're seeing basically what looks like a date book. So this date book's got, today is Tuesday, May 14th. It's got over on the side here my assignment for the day, an Intro to Assistive Technology, is to read Chapter 1, and you can see that it's overdue based on the time. I'm going to go back up to the top corner here and start over, and we're going to press that first button. It's like two notebooks. This gives us, we can create new books for each term. So we're going to look at here my first term. With this notebook, if I hit the plus key, it's going to add another book. If I hit that little gear, it's going to allow me to add courses in this. So I have one course in here. It's my Intro to Assistive Technology. I can add where it is, what days it is, who the instructor is. And then that's what's going to show up within my book when I open it up. So I'm just going to tap on the book to open it up. And now we can see here, here's Tuesday, May 14th. There's my information for the day. I had class at that time today. I have a chapter that's due. If I hit the 15th, it's going to show me I have nothing that day, the 16th. And there you can see I had my scheduled time for the class plugged in, so it's going to show me that I have that class as well. Let's just go back. I'm just going to add another class to this just to show you, just to kind of show you what this would look like if we added another class. So in my, I got to make sure I'm doing it right. I want to hit that wheel down at the bottom. And I'll just change the course name here to, let's just call it UDL. It's a UDL class. We'll change the color of it to red. And then we'll say it's in, I guess it doesn't matter when it is. But let's add, or it doesn't matter where it is, but let's make it a Monday at 3 o'clock class and a Tuesday, or a Wednesday at 3 o'clock class. And that is how we would add that. We could add an instructor if we want. I'm going to hit done. And now we should have within our book here, if I open this up, we should see on Tuesday we have Intro to Assistive Technology. If we tap the 15th, we've got the UDL class that day. It shows up in a different color there. If we go back up to the top here and we see that's our calendar page, if we hit the next button, that's our to-do list. So it has here listed one of my things to do is read Chapter 1, and you can see it's overdue, and that was of medium priority. If I wanted to add things into this again, I could go down to the bottom of that page and hit add, and I'm going to add, we'll just say read Chapter 2. We'll read Chapter 2, and we're going to make this due May 16th. We won't give it a priority, and we'll have it done by 2 o'clock, and now we'll see that shows up in our list as well. We need to read Chapter 2 for the next class. The other cool thing about In Class that we didn't see in My Homework is what you see on this next tab. We go up here and we tap that paper-looking thing. What this lets us do is it actually lets us take class notes directly in this as well. So you can see we have two pages here. We've got a page that shows our day of the class, and we've got a page on the other side that shows our class notes. If I go down to the bottom of that page and hit edit, it's going to give me my note page for the class. So I could sit here and I could say, okay, here's my notes. I've got options to record. So if I tap the recording button, it's going to start recording everything that's being said, and it's going to take away my iPad on the screenshot here. So let's pause that and see if it comes back. Let's get this back real quick. Sorry, there we go. Okay, so now that has come back. So it doesn't want me to show the desktop when I'm recording, but you can see it's added some audio recording to my notes here, so I can play that and listen back to what was played. I'm not going to do that now because obviously we had issues with that. You can also, if you tap the picture, your camera becomes active, and you can take a picture of something like the board in the classroom and add that directly into your notes. You could add a picture that you've already taken, or you can grab a file and drag that in your notes as well, or you can just tap on the note page and start typing, and you've got these notes directly in kind of your planner, basically. So you've got a planner with the capability to take class notes into it. So if we go and hit done, that's going to head back into our little planner page here. And at the very end, the last tab is that scholar looking tab. That way, that's going to give us information about our professors. That's kind of our contact list. That shows the contact for the instructor for the course. So again, if we go back to the very beginning, you're going to see here's our books. We open up the book. We've got a calendar page with everything that needs to be done. We've got our task list page, and we've got our notes page. So a nice way to kind of keep everything organized, and you could do different books for different semesters in there as well. So a nice way to use our iPad to stay organized there. We're going to switch gears a little bit. The last two that I'm going to show you are Post-it note apps. I believe both you can get for free. The first one is going to be called BugMeStickies. What's cool about BugMeStickies is if you want to use your stylus or your finger to write, basically what it allows you to do is write Post-it notes on here and pin them to the board. If we go down to the bottom corner where we see the plus sign and we tap on that, it's going to give us a sticky. I can choose here to type by tapping on the A, but I'm going to choose to write because I'm using a stylus. I can choose my color by picking one of these colors here. I'm going to go ahead and I'll pick blue, and then I'm going to go ahead and just write on here, and we'll just write app. And you know what? That's too thick, so I'm going to hit that pencil, and it's going to change it to an eraser, and I'll erase it, and I'll go back and I'll choose the thinner blue and write app review on here, and we'll put this for next week. The app review is going to be on 5/28 next week. So that'll be my reminder. Now, once I've created this reminder, if I were to purchase, I could go and tap on the Post-it note colors down here, and this is going to allow me to do different colors, but since I'm using the free version, all I have is the yellow Post-it note. So if it's really important to you to have different color Post-it notes, you can pay to be able to have that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on my paper airplane here. I guess before I do that, I'm going to tap on the alarm clock. If I tap on the alarm clock, that gives me alarms that I can set attached to this Post-it note. I'm going to leave that as is, but I'm going to tap on this paper airplane because this now shows where we can send this. We could email this Post-it note, we could assign it to a contact, we could save it to our camera roll, we could stick it on Facebook if we wanted to so it shows up on there to remind us, or we could save it to the home screen. And if we do that, if we tap Save to the Home Screen, what this is going to then do is it's going to send us to Safari, and it's going to show us the note in Safari. And so what we'd have to do then is go up to the very top here where we see that arrow coming out of the box, tap on that, and choose Add to Home Screen. And we'll just hit Add. And now, when we look on here, we look to our home screen, you can see that Post-it that I created pops up right on my home screen. So it's going to be there to remind me that I've got that going on. That's a nice kind of organization piece that we can use as a virtual Post-it note. Now to get rid of that, if you need to get rid of it, just tap and hold, and everything starts shaking and gets the X by it. Tap the X, and we've deleted that from our desktop. But if we go back into the BugMeStickies, there it is. That's pinned to my board there with my other sticky notes that I created. One more app on kind of these sticky notes for organization. This is called Stickies. And with this one's a little bit different. What we get with this guy is we don't get the opportunity to do the writing. So the difference between BugMe and this is we have to do all typing with this particular app. We don't have the writing component. If we hit the plus key, it's going to give us our options for notes. And we've got several options for notes here. We've got these different colored stickies, different shaped stickies. We've got paper that we can pull up on there. It'll look like different paper that you might tape onto the board. It's got text or comic bubbles you could add, text boxes, signs, or calendars. I'm just going to add a sticky note. We'll pick a blue one this time. So we can choose then either large or small. We'll pick a big one. Now when I grab it, I can move it around on my board here. And now I'll just type in here. I've got a advisory board meeting on Thursday, so we'll type in add advisory board, and then we'll just say 5/16. Okay. So now if that's what I want, I'm good. If I want to change it, I can tap and hold, and it's going to give me, you can see on the top of the keyboard over here, style, color, align, and category. Style, I can change the font size or the font type. Color, I believe this will change the color of the text. Alignment, I can change left, right, middle. Category, I can add it to a category if I want as well. And then I can choose where I want to pin this on my board. So now I've got lots of different sticky notes kind of hanging out on this board. What I like about this one that I think is cool is that we could then take and we could, if you go to the arrow up here, we could tap on that arrow, and there's different ways that we can share this. We could use, if you had the Bump app, you could bump the app to somebody else, and they could then have that note. You could save it to your camera roll, you could attach to email, or you could put this as your lock screen background, or preview it for, or use it as your home screen background. So if you had a bunch of notes that you wanted to see kind of all the time, you could tap preview lock screen, and this is what it's going to look like when your screen is locked then. So if that's what you like, if that works for you, what you're going to do is go back to that arrow and hit save to camera roll. So now it tells us it's been saved, and we can use it as wallpaper. So what we want to do now, if we want to put that as our lock screen, is we'll go back to settings, and we'll go to wallpaper, brightness and wallpaper, and we'll choose wallpaper, and within the camera roll we're going to choose that post-it note option. And up on the top here you can see it's set as lock screen, or set as home screen, or set as both. So if I go and I set this as a lock screen, now it's set. When my screen locks up on me, so I'm going to go ahead and lock it. We'll shut it down, and now when I bring it back, you're going to see before I slide to unlock, there's all my post-its on there reminding me of kind of what I need to do that day. If we would have changed that to the home screen, when we did this, the background here would have those notes on there. So we can go ahead and change that to the home screen real quick. Same way, settings, brightness and wallpaper, choose our camera roll picture that we want, and this time we'll hit set as the home screen as well. And now when I press the button to get out of this, you should, whoop, I guess it didn't register. Let me try that one more time. Sorry, we'll show you how to do it again. Camera roll, choose those, set as home screen, and now when we press, there we go, in the background of our apps is the post-it notes. You know, some of those we can't see real well, but we do have a reminder that those are there. So the downside to this, I mean, it's nice that you do have the capability to add those there, so they're always kind of at the forefront. The downside is when you add something or change it, it doesn't automatically update that for you. You'd have to take another picture, save it, and go make those changes again. But you can get these things kind of always right at the forefront. If I tap that yellow, you can see you can make different categories for your your Post-it notes as well. But this is really just kind of those Post-it notes are a nice way to kind of try and keep yourself organized with short little reminders. The in-class and my homework are nice tools for organizing what you need to do in class homework-wise and note-taking wise, and even incorporating your teacher to help you kind of keep things in track and keep things in order. I'll ask now, does anybody have any questions? If nobody has questions, I'll give you a minute to type. But as always, if you have questions after the fact, please feel free to shoot me an email at james-stachowiak@uiowa.edu. And if we don't have any questions, I appreciate you stopping by today, and hope this was helpful, that you found some good organization apps that you can check out and play with.